How long is it? Because I got 54 seconds, but I think I stopped it at about 19 or 20 seconds.
Oh, I got it queued in the first 6 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So whatever that time is, minus 6. But like, again, we can just play it back because you're talking about it at the start of an inning or something. Is he playing tonight?
No, he's not playing tonight. But
it'll be hard for us to see him in the dugout.
Well, you know what? I would just throw like the field, show the team, show the bench if you want, you know, that kind of thing. Just generic. But that's kind of the idea. I didn't want to make it hard on anybody. Just if it's the pitcher, it's easy enough to get a shot at him. But you know, that kind of thing. But with Aiden, it was hit and miss if he's in the field. Great.
There, oh.
Welcome to Sylvan Lake, the Sylvan Lake Gulls!
Without further delay, Gulls baseball fan, let's welcome the first ever coach in our history, Jason Chatwood.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Sylvan Lake Gulls!
Well, good evening and welcome back to Gulls Field at Pegattle Park for more WCBL action here on FloCollege. Jim Claggett here for you tonight. Yes, by myself. You're stuck with me, unfortunately. So here we go. The Gulls within a strike. The top of the ninth inning. 2 outs away and 1 strike away from a combined no-hitter from their pitching staff. 5 Gulls pitchers combined for 15 Ks, a couple of walks, and, of course, the aforementioned 1 base hit. But it was a 5-0 win for Sylvan Lake nonetheless. No matter how you get it, a win is a win is a win, and they really enjoyed that one. This was a combination of really good pitching by the Sylvan Lake Gulls staff. 3 of those guys, by the way, are headed to the All-Star game on Saturday down in Okotoks. The other 3 guys made a case for them heading down as well because everybody did their job last night. Lots of pitching, lots of good defense, and some timely hitting by the Sylvan Lake Gulls. So the Giants are in check last night. They're going to have to try and prove something tonight, I'm sure. Talking to their coaching staff, they said, yeah, our pitchers have been fine all year. It's our hitting that has let us down, and they're going to work on that, I'm sure. So we go with the Gulls and the Giants tonight. Garrett Lundmark is your starting pitcher tonight. We'll get a little bit more on him later on as the night goes on. But the Gulls are looking to take the 2 in a row, and game number 3 will be the rubber match tomorrow night here at Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. So we're getting ready to start. There's Aiden McMurray right there. He is going to the All-Star game. He's right in the middle of your screen there with the nice mustache, the Tom Selleck-looking mustache. So here he goes. He's going to the home run hitting contest is Aiden McMurray, and good for him, number 24.
Hitting contest. Pretty happy about being nominated for that, are you?
Oh, absolutely, I am. You know, it's a big thing to go and compete for the team on a stage with a whole bunch of other great competitors, so it'll be fun to see where everyone lands.
Any strategy going into the game?
Try to make sure you're preserving my energy best I can while still making sure you're getting them out, right? So I think seeing how well you can actually swing it for 2 minutes straight is going to be testing factor to endurance and stamina behind it, but I'm excited and looking forward to it.
And who are you getting to pitch for you, and what do you want to see from that pitcher?
I'm going to have Coach Wyatt throw for me. He always finds that sweet spot for me right at the top of the zone on the inside, so if he can feed it and pepper it there, we're going to have a lot of success.
Well, there you go. Aiden Macris, the representative from the Sylvan Lake Gulls for your home run hitting contest. On the mound tonight, a young man who's done quite well in a Gulls uniform in his first season here up in Sylvan Lake. That's Garrett Lundmark, your starting pitcher this evening. And Garrett, I got him in the bullpen, and I said, hey, I'm okay to talk to you? And he goes, yeah, no problem. He says, I don't get focused until half an hour before game time. So Elijah Olibal will lead things off. He's the man that ruined the no-hitter last night, so he got the only hit for the Giants. Then you got Rainey, Rhodes, Snow, Domingo, Kavanaugh, Kawaguchi, Martin, and Swenemson is your shortstop. There's your lineup that Garrett Lundmark will be facing tonight, and he's got some big shoes to fill here as Matthew McKenzie came out, and what did he do in that first inning? Oh, yeah, 7 pitches. And he struck out 2 Giants batters and got the other one to fly out. So I'm not sure if we're going to see a repeat performance from Garrett Lundmark, but I'm sure he's going to give it his best effort. He's a gamer, and he throws well. So and he's got that great defense behind him, of course, and we'll touch on that in a moment. Brooks Bachman there giving him the handshake, and let's go, boys. And here we go. Garrett Lundmark on the mound to face Elijah Olibal, who, like I said, destroyed the no-hitter last night. Although I heard another story, and I won't throw the other player under the bus, but it was a Gulls player who mentioned something about a no-hitter on the bench, apparently. I have no concrete evidence of that happening, though. First pitch in there for a strike from Lundmark, and that is grounded down to third base. Brooks Bachman, 1 hops it, 2 hops it, and there is the defense that the Gulls got last night, and it looks like the starting pitcher Lundmark is going to get the same effort from these boys tonight as Brooks Bachman with a super play, and all he has to do is try and bounce it. He can't set his feet fast enough and throw it over to first in the air. He does the right thing, and he bounces it right on base and easily picked up there by Matt Brandt, although it probably wasn't easy. These guys just make it look easy, that's all. So 1 down here as Connor Rainey, who was the leadoff batter last night for the Giants, steps in to face Lundmark. And a called strike there to even the count at 1-1. Clayton Wandler is the home plate umpire tonight. Brad Johnson over at first, and Rob Allen, the crew chief, is down the third base line. And that's fouled off the glove of Cam McLeod. Gulls defense out there. Bryce Hampton in left field. Kyle Lewis in center and Michael Quick. Those are your 3 outfielders behind Garrett Lundmark. And that misses up high. On the left-hand side, Brooks Bachman, as we saw, make that play. Ty Yukamoto over at short. Rowan O'Connor is your second baseman. Matt Brandt over at first. And Cam McLeod is behind home plate. 2-2 the count on Rhodes, or Connor Rainey, I should say. And a swing and a miss, and strikeout number 1 for Garrett Lundmark, as he ties up Connor Rainey. Just has him on his back foot. Off balance. That's what the Gulls pitchers tend to do to batters. This will be the first baseman, Matt Rhodes, stepping in now. And that misses just high outside. Well, it looked like we were going to get a whole lot of rain when I drove out here about an hour and a half ago. And Mother Nature said, fooled you. As the sun is kind of shining, the clouds are kind of dissipating. And so we might have some decent weather for a baseball game tonight, folks. The 1-1 pitch missing inside. 2-1 now the count on the Giants' first baseman. Their designated hitter, Lane Snow, is on deck. And that strike was called all night long last night, and it's called again tonight. The count now 2-2 with 2 down here in the top half of the first inning. Just underway here on FloCollege, WCBL baseball. And that's grounded foul down the first baseline. Matt Brandt gave kind of a wave at it. The 2-2 pitch from Lundmark on the way, and that's fouled back against the screen. Thursday night in Central Alberta. Thank you for joining us. The Giants and the Sylvan Lake Gulls going at it tonight. And that is fouled up against the screen. So a good at bat here for Matt Rhodes as he's battling Garrett Lundmark. And that misses inside. The count now full on the Giants' first baseman. And another foul ball. This one's out of play towards the Gulls bullpen. The 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. This has got to be, I'm thinking, trying to do my math here, 8 pitches, maybe 9 pitches right now between Matt Rhodes and Garrett Lundmark. Who's going to win the battle? 2 down, top of the first inning, nobody on. A 3-2 count on the Giants' first baseman. And Lundmark comes inside and misses with that one. And Rhodes gets the win on that one as he outlasts Garrett Lundmark on a 9-pitch at-bat. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Lance Snow. He's from Fort Worth, Texas. Is Mr. Snow. And first pitch to him is a called strike. The catcher, Rico Domingo, he is on deck. And an off-speed pitch has Snow watching. And he checks with home plate umpire Clayton Wandler. And Wandler says, yes, that was a strike. So the count 0-2 on the DH. And a swing and a miss. And the walk given up to Matt Rhodes amounts to nothing as Garrett Lundmark strikes out 2 here in the first inning. And the Gulls come to bat here in the bottom half of the first. We'll be back with more.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is. And it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
There's a starting pitcher for the Fort McMurray Giants. KJ Jones is the young man on the mound for Fort McMurray from Toronto, Ontario. He's the starter tonight, and last night the Giants had 2 pitchers handle the game. This is the lineup, though, that Jones will face. Yukamoto, of course, leading things off, followed by Hampton, Bachman, Turner, I want to say Overdrive, but it's O'Connor, Quick, Bryant, and McLeod, and Kyle Lewis. Those are your batters tonight for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That will face KJ Jones on the mound tonight with a lovely blue glove. I like that. I had a blue glove when I was playing baseball back in the day, way back in the day. But that was because I was a Pirates fan, but I was also an Oakland A's fan on the American League side, and they had a pitcher named Vida Blue, and that's why I got that glove, because I liked them. There you go. Long story short. Tai Yukamoto will lead things off for the Sylvan Lake Gulls tonight. He had 3 base hits last night for the Gulls. Easily could have been our player of the game if not for the 5 Gulls pitchers teaming up for a 1-hit shutout. They only allowed 3 base runners last night, folks. 2 walks and 1 base hit with 2 out and 2 strikes on the right fielder, Olibel. 1-2 the count on Yukamoto. And he grounds this down to third base, and that is called foul by Coach Rob, umpire Rob Allen. But Coach Wyatt McKnight is asking him, "Are you sure about that? I thought that hit the line." He's having a little discussion with him. It seems to be congenial. They're still talking, though. Yukamoto is still at the plate with the count 1-2. And a little floater down to third base, and Zach Kavanaugh has no problem with that as he makes the grab. And 1 down for the Giants here in the bottom half of the first inning. That'll bring up the left fielder, Bryce Hampton. Bryce was in right field last night, and now he's over in left field. Hampton, I believe, was on base when Matt Brandt had his base hit and scored on that play. So he was the winning run in a 5-0 win for the Gulls. Looking to make it 2 in a row tonight here against Fort McMurray. And that catches the corner. 1-1 the count now on Hampton. And another slow off-speed pitch coming in at 71. And a called strike. 1-2 the count now. That misses up high for a ball. Bottom of the first inning here, just underway at Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. With 1 down. And Hampton grounds this down to Kavanaugh at third. He fires over to first. And that's 2 down for the Giants. 2 batters, 2 outs. A nice smooth play there by the Giants third baseman Kavanaugh. He sets his feet and fires a bullet over to first base. Zach Kavanaugh there is at third. The rest of the lineup, the defense behind KJ Jones, Connor Martin, Connor Rainey, and Elijah Olibel are your outfielders. Kavanaugh, as I mentioned, at third. Ben Swenimson is the shortstop. Coleman Kawaguchi over at second. Matt Rhodes is the first baseman. Enrico Domingo is behind the plate. That's fouled off the screen over by the Gulls dugout. 1-1 the count on Brooks Bachman, hitting in the 3 spot tonight. playing over at third. That misses outside, 2-1 now. Bryce Turner is the on-deck hitter. And a called strike there. Once again, the off-speed pitch from KJ Jones. And Bachman sends this in through the gap between short and third for the first hit of the night here for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They now have a base runner on, and the designated hitter tonight, Bryce Turner. There's the hit thanks to Hearthstone Property Management replay as Bachman sends it to the opposite field. And he's a threat to steal, is Brooks Bachman. Turner takes that first pitch on the outside for a strike. The 0-1 pitch. A little off speed again. That's inside for a ball. Rowan O'Connor, second baseman tonight for the Gulls, is on deck. That looked like a pretty good pitch, but it was called a ball. The count now in favor of Turner, 0-1, or 2-1, I should say. That misses outside. The count now 3-1. Kind of a quiet crowd out there tonight. They just seem to be, I don't know, settled down, just watching the game. And Turner sends this to the left. Kavanaugh with a great play. Pulls the first baseman off the bag, but Matt Rhodes makes the tag and does get Bryce Turner. And that brings the inning to a close. No runs on one hit, one man left on base, one inning complete. Scoreless between the Gulls and Giants. Fort Mac coming to round.
Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archived game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus 2 weekly shows including the WCBL Report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday, and also the WCBL Game of the Week pregame show leading right up to game time every Thursday night. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today.
Welcome back. Top of the second inning. Rico Domingo, the catcher, will lead things off for Fort McMurray. Facing Garrett Lundmark. That first pitch is outside for a ball. Rico Domingo, Zach Kavanaugh, and then Coleman Kawaguchi. The 5, 6, 7 batters in the Giants lineup tonight. Pretty much the same lineup that played last night for the Giants with the additions of Rico Domingo and Ben Swenemson. 2-1 the count on Domingo. Lundmark missing outside with that one. 3-1 the count now. And a nice pitch there from Lundmark ties up Rico Domingo. The count now full on the Giants catcher. And a pop-up out of play. You hear a thunk on the roof. And the kids are running after that one. Full count. First batter here in the top half of the second inning in a scoreless game between the Gulls and Giants. That's grounded down to Yukamoto, and he's got a sure glove and a sure arm, and that was a sure out. Nice scoop there by Yukamoto. Thank you to the Hearthstone Property Management replay. Matt Brandt just, I'm sure he loves catching from all these infielders. They just seem to throw strikes to him, making his job a little easier. Well, maybe not easier, simpler. This is the third baseman, Zach Kavanaugh. He's had a busy night on the defensive side already with a couple of plays over at third, a couple of very good plays. And a very good base hit there as he sends this one right out to center field. And we don't have to worry about the no-hitter tonight, as Zach Kavanaugh just took care of that with the base hit out to center field to get things going for the Giants. The Hearthstone Property Management replay showing us that fact. This is Coleman Kawaguchi, the shortstop. Nope, he's playing second base. He was shortstop last night. And he gets plunked on the left arm by Garrett Lundmark. So that'll move Kavanaugh over to second. Lundmark drops down to first. No worse for wear. And the Giants have something going here in the top half of the second with base runners on first and second. And the number 8 batter, the left fielder Connor Martin, steps in to face Lundmark. And that gets out of the glove of Cam McLeod and rolls all the way back to the fence. And that allows Kavanaugh and Kawaguchi to move up. So now we've got runners in second and third on that pass ball. That just kind of jumped out of Cam McLeod's glove. And 1-1 the count on a strike there, and just out of the corner of my eye, I caught Zach Kavanaugh taking about 5 really hard steps off of third base towards home plate. I thought he was stealing home. More of a distraction, and Brooks Bachman is probably keeping that in mind, and at some point he might just find his way right behind third base. Get a throw from Cam McLeod. Garrett Lundmark will get a visit from not head coach, but he is coaching tonight. He's wearing 2 hats, not literally. Matt Hape will come out and talk to his pitcher. No action in the bullpen. He's just having a little visit to find out what's going on. I love these discussions. They just, they don't bother like the pros do, put their hand over their mouth or the glove over their mouth so nobody can lip read, because major league teams probably do have somebody out there that can lip read, and will be radioing in signals or conversations to the bench. Well, they don't do that here. But Garrett Lundmark's got his instructions and has his conversation with Matt Hape come to an end, and now it's back to work, focusing on the left fielder, Connor Martin. The count 2-1. One down, runners at second and third here in the top half of the second inning. And a good pitch there by Lundmark. Catches the inside corner, evens the count at 2-2. Gulls trying to limit the damage here. A strikeout would be timely. A little pop up to the infield would be good. Instead, he misses inside. Now the count is full. The shortstop, Ben Swenimson, is on deck. And that's grounded down to Yukamoto. He checks the runner at second, fires over to first, and gets the out, but the Giants score a run here in the second inning as Zach Kavanaugh crosses home plate easily after that ground ball to Yukamoto. And that'll bring up Ben Swenimson. Base runner over at second is Coleman Kawaguchi with 2 down. A called strike there on Swenimson. Big, tall kid. He's from Calgary, Alberta. We know where that is, just south of us, about an hour and a half south of us here in Sylvan Lake. And this is out in foul territory. It's going towards the netting, and a valiant effort by Matt Brandt as he hangs over the railing of the Giants bench. And he wasn't getting any help from those guys, that's for sure. They weren't telling him how close he was. They were keeping an eye on him, but they weren't telling him how close he was to the railing. You're not going to get any help from the opposition, right? They are concerned for your safety and theirs, but that's where the line is drawn. 0-2 the count on Swenimson. And a nice pitch there by Garrett Lundmark. Strikeout number 3 on the night, but the Giants strike first here tonight with a run here in the top of the second. They leave one base runner. 1-0 Fort McMurray. Gulls coming to bat in the bottom half of the second inning. Bottom of the second inning, Sylvan Lake, Fort McMurray, WCBL action here on FloCollege. Jim Claggett with you tonight. Matt Brandt, the first baseman, will lead things off against KJ Jones. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is Rowan O'Connor. Thought that was 18. That's 16. And O'Connor reaches out and fouls that up against the screen as well. 1-1 the count now. Rowan O'Connor from Seattle, Washington. He's played some shortstop for the Gulls, some second base. And he sends this one into shallow left field. And Connor Martin gets a glove on it and gets that first out for the Giants tonight, who have already got a hit and got a run, which is more than, well, they got a hit last night, but they didn't get a run last night, so they're already ahead of themselves. This will pick up the right fielder, number 44, Michael Quick. Young Canadian lad from Oshawa, Ontario, goes to Southern Illinois University. That misses outside from Jones. The count 1-1 now. And that's a grounded foul down the first baseline. One and two count. And that's drilled into center field, but a good sliding catch by Connor Rainey out in center field for the second out of the inning. Watch this, Hearthstone Property Management replay. Nice grab by the center fielder, Connor Rainey. That's two down now here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up the first baseman, Matt Brandt. Another young man from Texas, goes to Oral Roberts University. Takes a good cut at that off-speed pitch and gets nothing but air on that one. And same pitch, same result. KJ Jones up 0-2 on the Gulls' first baseman, Matt Bratt. That's fouled into the Giants bullpen, or just off the fence behind the Giants bullpen. No 2 count. And that off-speed pitch misses. Brandt laid off of that one this time. One, 2 count. And Brandt sends this out to center field, and Connor Rainey holds his ground, makes the grab, and a 3-up, 3-down inning. The Gulls, no runs, no hits. They leave nobody on base, and after 2 complete, Fort McMurray has a 1-0 lead. They're coming to bat.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field, the friend next door, with your family in the next town, the dealership with the ice cream shop. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is. And it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
We are back here at Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. Western Canadian Baseball League action on FloCollege. And this is the top of the order for the Giants, Elijah Olibal. He fouls off the first pitch here in the top half of the third inning. Garrett Lundmark on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls tonight. That misses high. Five games tonight in the, well, 6, including this one, in the WCBL. One game did get canceled or postponed to July. That's the Brooks Bombers against the Energy City Cactus Rats. But the other games, we got Saskatoon down in Lethbridge. Swift Current is in Weyburn. Fort McMurray, of course, here against the Gulls. Medicine Hat is in Moose Jaw against the Miller Express. And the Regina Red Sox and Okotoks Dogs are just about underway down in Okotoks. So we'll give you some updates on those games later on in our broadcast. 3-2 the count here on Elijah Olibal. And he takes the walk to lead things off here in the third inning, as he worked Lundmark to a full count and then drew the walk. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Connor Rainey.
The batter is number 26, Connor Rainey.
And looks like we'll get a little action in the Gulls bullpen as they are sending, looks like one of the catchers, looks like Junior Garcia is headed down there. So he's going to be helping somebody warm up, and one of the pitchers is loosening up now. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Giants. That's fouled out of play. And a bunch of young men out in the area where that ball just landed, and I said, hey, here comes a ball our way. That was the easiest one they've ever had to chase down. That's fouled back. 0-2 the count on Rainey. He struck out back in the first inning. Garrett Lundmark with 3 strikeouts on the night, giving up the 1 run and 1 base hit. That misses high for a ball. 1-2 the count on Rainey. The 1-2 pitch. That's fouled back against the mesh. Oh, and it flipped over top, and young man got himself a baseball. There you go. Well done. Didn't have to fight anybody for it. Just reached over and grabbed it. Lundmark delivers the 1-2 pitch and a called third strike. There was a lot of that last night, as all the Gulls pitchers were freezing these guys, as you see on the replay there. As Rainey is rung up by home plate umpire Clayton Wandler. That'll bring up the first baseman, Matt Rhodes, who got on in the first inning with a walk. And he fouls this back. To start things off in his at-bat, designated hitter Lane Snow is on deck. And a pop-up towards the third baseman, Brooks Bachman. just on the outfield grass. Makes the catch and records the second out of the inning. Bachman, I'm not sure, explaining what he was doing, I guess. Doing his own play-by-play. Yeah, this is what happened. This will be Lance Snow, or Lane Snow, I should say. Mighty cut there by Snow. Oh, 1 the count as Lundmark trying to work out of a leadoff walk given up to Elijah Olibel, who's still over at first base. The count now 0-2 on Snow. No offense to Mother Nature, but this is the only snow we want to see for the next little while. Thank you very much. The 0-2 pitch from Lundmark as Olibel takes off for second, and they got him as he overslid the bag. A good strong throw by Cam McLeod, and a good tag there by the second baseman, Rowan O'Connor, as he hung in there and waited. Good job there on the Hearthstone Property Management replay. That's 3 outs, so no runs on no hits and nobody left on base. Gulls come to bat in the bottom of the third. Welcome back to Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. Top of the third, or bottom of the third inning. Sylvan Lake Gulls trailing the Fort McMurray Giants 1-0. Cam McLeod, the catcher, will lead things off, and he sends this into deep left center field, and that's going to one hop off the wall, and a leadoff double here in the bottom of the third inning for the Gulls catcher, Cam McLeod, as he put a charge into that first pitch from KJ Jones. Watch this, folks, on the Hearthstone Property Management replay. Connor Rainey's got some good speed, but he wasn't going to catch that one, as that was perfectly hit into the gap between left and center. And that'll lead things off for the Gulls with a stand-up double. Kyle Lewis now steps in, the center fielder for the Gulls. His first at bat against KJ Jones tonight. And Jones comes in with an off-speed pitch, 77. Gulls trailing 1-0, but now they have a base runner in scoring position over at second to lead things off here in the third. And that is popped straight up to the shortstop, has been Swenenson. And Kyle Lewis is retired on that pop-up. As the shortstop had no problem settling underneath that one. That'll bring up the top of the order, Tai Yukamoto. He popped up to the second baseman to lead things off here in the game in the first inning. And timeout called, I think, by Tai Yukamoto, as KJ Jones was taking a little while to get set there and get settled in for the pitch that he was going to throw. And that's well hit by Yukamoto. That sends Rainey deep into center field. That'll move the base runner over to third. As a well hit ball by Yukamoto, as he gets all of this one. And some good defensive play by Connor Rainey as he tracks that one down. But that'll bring up Bryce Hampton, who grounded out to third. Zach Kavanaugh made a good play on him over at third base back in the first inning. Jones missing outside with that pitch to lead things off here for Bryce Hampton. Cam McLeod, the base runner, over at third with a leadoff double. But since then, Kyle Lewis has popped up to the shortstop, and then Yukamoto flying out to deep center field. Bryce Hampton watched that go into the dirt, and he's up 3-0. With Brooks Bachman, the on-deck hitter. He had a base hit back in the first. And that's in for a strike. 3-1 the count now on a Hampton. Bozeman, Montana is hometown. He's a Washington State University Cougar. And he draws the walk to put runners on the corners for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And that'll bring up the left-hander, Brooks Bachman, as Hampton trots down to first base. Cam Diaz comes over and he's probably talking. He's talking to somebody.
Runners on the corners with two away. The third baseman at the plate, number 2, Brooks Bachman.
Bachman with the single back in the first inning, and the Gulls tried the little fake play where they send the base runner over to second and hope to draw a throw. Bryce Hampton, I tried. Yeah. Anyway, he's now in scoring position, so there's a little trade-off, I guess. You either throw and hope you get the guy, or you don't throw and you put another guy in scoring position. As Bachman fouls this out, he's behind 0-2. Two down here in the bottom of the third. Gulls trailing 1-0. And Bachman slams this down towards second base, but Coleman Kawaguchi is equal to the task. He makes the grab, throws over to first, and the leadoff double by Cam McLeod amounts to nothing for the Gulls. No runs on one base hit. They leave 2 men on base. We are through 3 complete. Gulls trailing 1-0. Giants coming to bat. welcome. And here you go, folks. If you're looking for a distraction from baseball, but this will help you. The Birdie Bash, the 4th annual Gulls Give Foundation Golf Tournament, Monday, this coming Monday, July 21st, over at Alberta Springs Golf Course, just down the road here from Gulls Field at Seattle Park. And it's always a fun time, folks. There's always some entertaining foursomes out there. I'm usually in one of them. I'm not the entertainment, though. And that's a ground ball in the gap, perfectly placed. The old seeing eye single between third baseman Brooks Bachman and the shortstop Kai Yukamoto. Lane Snow leading things off here in the top half of the 4th inning. He was at the plate when Elijah Campbell was thrown out over at second by Cam McLeod. So he leads things off here in the 4th with a base hit, first pitch swinging. That'll bring up the catcher, Rico Domingo. He squares to bunt. And they call the strike on that because he did kind of offer it that one. So the umpire, Rob Allen, says, yep. Yeah, I'm thinking he offered it that one. And that misses outside. Garrett Lundmark on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Through 3 innings, he's given up 1 run and 2 base hits. The Gulls with no runs and also a couple of base hits. And there's a little pop-up behind home plate. Cam McLeod makes the effort to get over there, but no can do. But the count now 1-2 on Rico Domingo, who grounded out to short, leading off the 2nd inning. Oh, and high and tight on that one. As the pros say, a little chin music there. As Garrett Lundmark gets himself settled down, and the 2-2 count on Rico Domingo with the base runner over at first. He misses with that one. The count now full. And I think the message is going down to the Gulls bullpen that somebody should get warm here in the 4th inning. That's fouled out of play. Lundmark with 62 pitches on the night. And last night, Matt McKenzie, I mentioned he pitched that first inning, 7 pitches, got 2 strikeouts, and then a pop-up. And I think he left the game in the 4th inning. Yeah, he left, and the Leroy Taveras came in the 5th. And he told me he was on a pitch count because he's going down to the All-Star game. And there's a walk given up by Lundmark. I believe that's the 2nd walk of the night. No, that's the 3rd walk of the night by Lundmark, and he also hit a batter. So he's put 4 guys on base via the free pass. And that's why we have some action in the Gulls bullpen right now. Zach Kavanaugh will step in. He had a base hit in the 2nd inning and scored the only run of the game so far for either team. Fouls this back. The count 0-1. And as I was mentioning, Matthew McKenzie, one of 3 Gulls pitchers headed down to the All-Star game. Josh Dolish, and who also pitched last night, and then Mickey McClaskey is going down as well. All 3 guys saw action last night, along with Leroy Taveras and Simon Baker. And now I'm testing my memory here. Who else pitched last night? It'll come to me. I said Simon Baker. Leroy Tavares. Matthew McKenzie started. 1-2 the count here as I ponder life. Bases 1 and 2 are filled with Giants as Garrett Lundmark is having a little bit of trouble right now finding the strike zone. Mason Little warming up in the bullpen for the Gulls. 2-2 the count. There's Mason on your screen right there. And a foul tip there. Cam McLeod looking at his glove saying, why didn't you hold on to that glove? Oh, that's right. We had Leroy Tavares, Simon Baker. Oh, we had just the 5 guys. Yeah, the 3 All-Stars and then those 2 gentlemen. Simon Baker, all he did was come in and strike out the side. And Mickey McClaskey doing one of the weirdest things. I mean, he didn't do it, but it happened while he was pitching. I was talking about his speed when we were over at the Sylvan Lake Library, and I mentioned, maybe he was 94, 95. He says, no, Jim, I threw 96. And that's ripped down to first base and underneath the glove of Matt Brandt, and that's going to cash in at least 1 run as Lane Snow makes his way around the bases, and so his leadoff single results in run number 2 for the Fort McMurray Giants. And a hard hit ball there by Zach Kavanaugh just sneaks under the glove. Of Matt Brandt over at first base. That was a hard hit ball. Coleman Kawaguchi will be the batter, but there's going to be a little meeting on the mound here as Matt Hape has seen enough from his starter, Garrett Lundmark. He puts his hand out, gets the ball, and that's the end of the night for Garrett Lundmark. And he gets a good round of applause from the fans and the heads up from his teammates. And Mason Little will warm up, and we'll take a break and be right back with that. There's your new pitcher tonight, taking over from the starter, Garrett Lundmark. He comes in with runners on first and third, trailing 2-0. That's Mason Little from Memphis, Tennessee. And he's facing Coleman Kawaguchi here in the top half of the fourth inning. Giants with runners on first and third. They have a 2-0 lead over Sylvan Lake. And Kawaguchi sends this over to left field. That's Bryce Hampton. And a tag there by the runner, and a strong throw, but offline as Rico Domingo scores. Run number 3 for the Fort McMurray Giants. A sacrifice fly by Kawaguchi does the job, as Domingo puts the Giants up 3-0 here in the top of the fourth inning. The Gulls digging themselves a little bit of a hole here. Connor Martin, the left fielder, will step in. He grounded out to short in his first at bat. That misses outside. 2-0 the count on Connor Martin. Mason Little with 1 win on the year, an ERA of 3.97. He's had 22 innings, 22.2 innings to be exact. 21 strikeouts in those innings, and he's given up 23 hits and walked 7. And there's a base hit to dead center field by Connor Martin. So after talking to the Fort McMurray Giants coaching staff, and they said their pitching has been fine all year, it's the bats that have been somewhat of an issue. It doesn't seem to be an issue right now. They've got 4 hits and 3 runs on the night.
The shortstop, number 16, Ben.
And they've got base runners on first and third again, with the shortstop Ben Swenson. And he sends this into right field, and a little bit of the excitement out there for Michael Quick, as he was kind of paralyzed for a moment there as he was trying to track that ball, and then had to hustle. They're going to check over at third to see if he left a little early, as that he took a couple of steps to his right and then decided, oh, that's short, and so he's coming in on that one. Does make the catch and gets the ball in, but that drives in another run. So the Giants with a 4-0 lead here in the top half of the fourth inning. And Little comes in with a strike to Elijah Olibal. Two down, base runner over at first in Connor Martin. And a throw over to first, and they got him. A pickoff by Mason Little, and Matt Brandt gets the tag on him, and that snuffs out the rest of this rally. But not before the Giants put 3 runs across the plate. They lead 4-0. Gulls coming to bat. Well, KJ Jones has had a pretty good night so far. No runs on 2 base hits. Those 2 hits came back in the 3rd inning, or at least one of them did. Yep, one in the 1st and one in the 3rd. So he's spread out the hits and has kept the Gulls off bat and off balance and off the scoreboard. His team's given him a 4-0 lead as Bryce Turner, the designated hitter tonight, starts things off. Turner hitting .239 on the year, and he gives this a ride to left field, and guess what, folks? That ain't coming back. Kaboom! Goes Bryce Turner deep to left field and puts the Gulls on the board emphatically with a home run over the left field wall. Here's the replay of, thanks you to Hearthstone Property Management, as he got all of that one. The left fielder, Connor Martin, just kind of jogged out there as he watched it disappear over the fence. And the Gulls get on the board in a big way with a solo shot off the bat of Bryce Turner. That's his 3rd home run of the season for the Gulls. This will bring up Rowan O'Connor, hitting .315 on the year. And he drives this down to 3rd base, and Zach Kavanaugh, who's had a good solid night over there, makes the play for the 1st out. Kavanaugh looks pretty calm and very confident over there. Yeah, he's got a good glove and a very strong arm. He looks very much in control. Michael Quick, the center fielder for the Gulls, steps in now, facing KJ Jones. Quick hitting .308 on the year, 5 RBIs. He grounds this down, and a nice play by Cam Diaz over at first base in the coach's box. Looking like an infielder. He probably played some infield. He's more of a pitcher, obviously, but he's played some infield, I'm sure. And a swing and a miss there by Michael Quick. He flew out to center field back in the 2nd inning. And a swing and a miss there. And the count 1-2 on Michael Quick from Oshawa, Ontario. Oh, and Rico Domingo thought that was a strikeout. He was ready to fire down to the 3rd baseman for the old around the horn, and nope. No such luck. 2-2 the count. 1 down here in the bottom of the inning, and a good scoop over there by first baseman Matt Rhodes. And that brings the batting to an end for Michael Quick as Rhodes steps on the bag for the 2nd out. He's pretty happy about that, yeah. He's getting it from his bench. I'm not sure why. That was a pretty nice play. This will bring up our first baseman, Matt Brandt. He flew out to center field. I think a nice grab there by Connor Rainey. And Brandt sends this into shallow left field, and the shortstop, Ben Swenemson, shows some range as he is way out in left field, making that catch for the Fort McMurray Giants. 1 run, a big one, a home run by Bryce Turner. Gulls trail 4-1. We're headed to the 5th. right, folks. Movie night Friday, July the 25th at 7 o'clock right here at Gulls Field. Bring yourself a chair and sit in the infield and watch the movie Inside Out 2, a Disney Pixar production, and that's always a good time. And guess what, folks? Free admission. Now, you might not have heard everything I said up to that point, but I'm pretty sure you heard the free part. And there you go. As Mason Little starts this inning up on the mound, taking over from the starter Garrett Lundmark. He's facing Elijah Olibel, and the count 1-1 now. And a good swing there by Mason Little, or a pitch there by Mason Little. I guess you can call it a swing to his arm swing. You know, I'm trying to cover my tracks here. 14 innings by myself. I should not be left unsupervised. 94 miles an hour on that pitch. They count 2-2 on Elijah Olibel, who got on base with a walk, and then he got picked off by Cam McLeod, the catcher, as he tried to steal second. And that's fouled down the first baseline. Count remains 2-2. 4-1 Giants lead the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Giants with 1 run in the second, 3 in the fourth, and then the Gulls countered with a solo home run from Bryce Turner to ruin the shutout, as KJ Jones was on fire, and so is Mason Little as he gets the strikeout here to start the 5th inning. And strikeout looking. I always got to remember that strikeout looking when I mark it down, as I like to put them in the way the K-Man puts them up on the board there, backwards. So that's back-to-back strikeouts looking. 5 on the night by Garrett Lundmark and Mason Little. And this is hit out to left field, and Bryce Hampton scoots in, makes the grab, and just like that, there's 2 down. So the Gulls defense is coming to life here and helping out their pitcher Mason Little with the second out. And that'll bring up the first baseman Matt Rhodes, who walked and popped up to the third baseman Brooks Bachman. And Mason Little is just, well, he had some time in between innings, obviously, to compose himself, and not that he needed to, because he came in the fourth and did quite a good job to get the Gulls out of a bit of a jam after they'd given up 3 runs. The 0-2 pitch, and that's sent out into left center field, and who's going to call that? Bryce Hampton makes the call, makes the grab. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Mason Little and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. 4.5 in the books, folks, and the Gulls coming to bat. Good shot there at the berm. And the 5 Ks. 3 strikeouts to them looking. The crowd here at Sylvan Lake being entertained with a 4-1 lead by the Giants right now. The Gulls will need that crowd support to mount a comeback here against KJ Jones and the Fort McMurray Giants. And leading things off is the catcher Cam McLeod as he sends this deep to center field, but Connor Rainey gets back easily and makes the grab for the first out. So Connor Rainey covers an awful lot of ground out there in center field. That'll bring up the center fielder for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, Kyle Lewis. Kyle having a tough season with the bat right now. 189 is his batting average, but he does have 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. So when he does make contact, it's usually positive. He popped up to the shortstop, Swenenson, back in the 3rd inning. That misses outside. The count 2-1 now on Lewis. 4-1 Giants lead it here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. That misses outside. Good pitch there by KJ Jones. 62 pitches on the night for the Giants starter. He's behind in the count 3-1 here. And that misses high and inside. So walk drawn by the number 9 hitter Kyle Lewis to get a base runner on board for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. I always look at over at first base. I like seeing what Cam Diaz is doing. He's an interesting individual. Lots of personality on that young man. Top of the order, Tai Yukamoto. Last time up, he sent a rocket out into center field that Connor Rainey had to track down, and he had to use all of the speed that he has to get to that ball. And Yukamoto behind in the count now 0-2. Base runner over at first, and Kyle Lewis. Gulls looking to cut into that 4-1 Giants lead. Throw over to first. KJ Jones one hops it over his first baseman, Matt Rhodes, who probably gave him the look like, wow, what's going on, man? I'm sure in a joking way, he might even said something that was this too far for you to throw? 0-2 the count. And that's ripped foul by Yukamoto. Yukamoto hitting .353 on the season with a home run and 7 RBIs. And he loops this over into left field for a base hit to keep the inning going for the Sylvan Lake Gulls and moving Kyle Lewis over to second base. So the Gulls got something going here early in the 5th inning with Yukamoto making the base hit and Cam Diaz giving him the I'm not sure what they're doing. And Bryce Hampton, our left fielder, is taking a seat on the bench. Not sure if it was because he had to or because they asked him to. But Brock Tiarina will step in now and take over for Bryce Hampton, who was 0 for 1 with a walk. Made a couple of grabs out in left field. Hopefully it's just, a substitution, not an injury. So Tiarina comes in here in the 5th inning. We'll see if he goes out to left field. there might be a double switch there, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Tiarina sends this right back up the middle, and Swedenson was playing that just perfectly. He was almost behind second base, almost like they knew where. See, look where he is. And just a little flip there, and they turn the double play, Coleman Kawaguchi. So they get out of the inning with no runs and one man left on base. 4-1 Giants lead. We go to the 6th. We are back here in the top of the 6th inning. Giants with a 4-1 lead. Mason Little on the mound. He took over for the starter Garrett Lundmark in the 4th inning. And speaking of taking over, left fielder Bryce Hampton was hit for in the inning by Brock Tiarina, and Tiarina stays in the game out in left field. And a good pitch there by Mason Little. 1-2 the count on Lane Snow, who started that 4th inning and started the rally or the scoring for the Giants in that inning, but he gets struck out by Mason Little on an off-speed pitch that just tied him up in knots. Okay, on one knee, looking disgusted with himself. Is like, what was that? That was a really good pitch by Mason Little. That'll bring up the catcher, Rico Domingo. That's fouled straight back over the backstop. A little missing with that pitch. A little bit of action in the Gulls bullpen. Reese Witherspoon, I could tell it's Reese. His back is turned to me, and I think might be Kai Rempel. Not sure. 2-1 the count, though, on Rico Domingo with one down here in the 6th inning. And a nice pitch there by Little. Zach Kavanaugh, the third baseman, is on deck. That's grounded down to Brooks Bachman. He's up and over, and Matt Brandt steps on the bag. And that's 2 down here in the top of the 6th. Nice play there by Bachman. And they'll throw a little bit on the high side, and Brandt makes sure that he steps on the bag, records the out, and Bachman says, okay, I'll bring that throw down a little bit. There we go. This will bring Kavanaugh up. He has a couple of base hits and an RBI, and he's been very good defensively over at third at the hot corner. Mason Little starts him off with an off-speed pitch. 0-1 the count. That misses well outside. "4-1 Giants lead the Sylvan Lake Gulls." Well, that's fouled out of play. Last night, in case you missed it, 5 Gulls pitchers teamed up for a 1-hit shutout, missing the no-hitter by 1 strike or 1 out, basically. Could have been a strikeout, it could have been a pop-up, could have been a ground out. 15 strikeouts between the 5 pitchers, and only 3 base runners, 2 walks and a base hit. Tables have turned tonight as the Giants bats. Oh, and Mason Little thought he had that pitch as he bounced off the mound. And went, oh, okay. And Clayton Wandler and Cam McLeod both said, well, that was a little outside. Full count now on Kavanaugh. And he rips this down the first baseline. And foul. That was funny. Mason Little was about 5 feet off the mound already and headed towards the dugout. And that's ripped down to second base. But up with it is Rowan O'Connor. He flips it over to Matt Brandt over at first, and a 3-up, 3-down inning back-to-back for Mason Little and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Gulls trailing 4-1, they're coming to bat. Well, another inning for KJ Jones. Young man from Toronto, Ontario, goes to South Suburban. And he's had a good night. 1 run on 4 hits through 5 innings. He'll face Brooks Bachman, Bryce Turner, and Rowan O'Connor here in the bottom of the 6th inning with a 4-1 lead. That misses outside for a ball. But they do have some action in the bullpen. Number 24, Wyatt Culbertson, is warming up. So he may be coming in as they keep an eye on KJ Jones. 71 pitches so far in this game. That misses inside. 3-0 now. He's behind the leadoff hitter here, Brooks Bachman, who had a single back in the first and grounded out in the third to second base. And that's a called strike there. Taking all the way. And Bachman grounds this foul down the first baseline. Brooks hitting .295 on the season, a homer and 10 RBIs to his credit. And he drops this one. Oh no, I thought that was going to land in front of the right fielder, Elijah Olabayel. Sorry. And instead he makes an outstanding grab out in right field to erase Brooks Bachman. Good job there by the right fielder. Bryce Turner now steps in, the designated hitter. And you know what happened last time he was up? There's no thunder or lightning in the sky, but he provided a little bit of thunder and lightning off his bat as he launched one deep to left field. The only run scored by the Sylvan Lake Gulls off the bat of Bryce Turner. And that catches the outside corner. Turner behind now, 1-2. .239 on the season, 3 home runs now, and 14 RBIs for Bryce Turner. Southwest Tennessee Community College from Patriot, Indiana. And a swing and a miss there as KJ Jones gets the measure of him this time around. Turner got him the first time. Jones returns the favor with the strikeout. This will bring up Rowan O'Connor, the second baseman for the Gulls. He fouls that back. Rowan having a good season at the plate. Couple of home runs, 18 RBIs, hitting .315 on the season. That misses down low. 1-1 the count. Gulls trailing the Fort McMurray Giants here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-1 Fort McMurray. They're looking for win number 14 on the season. They've got 23 losses, I believe. Handful of other games in the WCBL. When we come back after this inning, I'll give you a little update as to those scores out of town. 2-2 the count on Rowan O'Connor. Seattle, Washington, and he's a student down at Gonzaga University. And KJ Jones is in control as he strikes out the last 2 batters here to bring the inning to a close. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. That is the end of the 6th inning. Gulls trailing 4-1, Giants coming to bat. Welcome back to Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. WCBL baseball action here. Jim Claggett with you on FloCollege. The skies have held off. It looked like it might be some rain action tonight, but it's so far so good as I tap my head and knock on wood. And Mason Little on the mound for the Gulls as they trail 4-1. And leading things off for the Sylvan Lake or for the Fort McMurray Giants is their second baseman, Coleman Kawaguchi. And 1-1 the count on Kawaguchi, who walked, or hit by a pitch, I should say, and flew out to left field. And a good block there by Cam McLeod. 2-1 the count now. That's ripped down the left field line, foul. Handful of other games going on in the WCBL tonight. In Weyburn, the Beavers have a 5-0 lead over Swift Current. That's in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That misses high and inside. Saskatoon in the bottom of the 5th with a 7-2 lead over the Lethbridge Bulls. And a strikeout there for Mason Little. I believe that's 3 on the night for him. As he sits down Yamaguchi, or Kawaguchi. In Okotoks, bottom of the 4th inning, the Regina Red Sox have a 3-0 lead over the Dogs. And in Moose Jaw, it's Medicine Hat with a 5-0 edge over the Miller Express. This is sent out to center field, and a good job there by Kyle Lewis as he tracks that one down, showing the speed that he has to play out in left field as he closes that gap real quick and makes an outstanding catch for the second out. So the shortstop, Ben Swenlinson, steps in now to face Mason Little. He fouls this out of play. Swenlinson with a strikeout and a fly out to right field. So he's 0 for 2 on the night. A good pitch there from Mason Little. 91 miles an hour. These kids can throw. It's impressive. And a little off-speed pitch there as Swenlinson shaking his head going, I thought that was going to be the fastball again. And no, he throws it at 78 instead. The 1-2 pitch with 2 down. And he reaches out and sends this down to second base. But O'Connor has it, sends it over to first. And the inning is over. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Gulls coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th. They trail Fort McMurray 4-1. new pitcher in for the Fort McMurray Giants is KJ Jones. 1 run, 4 hits in his 6 innings of work. This young man, Ash Amerlan is his name. He's from Oranjestad, Aruba. There you go. And number 24, Aiden Macaris comes in for Michael Quick. Aiden going to the All-Star game as the representative for the Gulls for the home run contest. And that pitch from Amaran is way outside for a ball. Macaris saying, you know, I'm just going to take my time, and if the pitches are there, I'm going to swing at them. And he's going to have Coach Wyatt McKnight throwing to him. He says Wyatt always seems to find the sweet spot a little high and inside. So Amerlan, Ash Amerlan, don't throw it high and inside. That's where he likes it. And instead, he fires 93. And he's 2-1 the count on Macaris. And a good take there. Now, I don't know if that radar gun is right, but that says 97. Whew. This young man can throw. And he comes in with that pitch at 93. The count full now on Aiden Macaris. Coming in to hit for Michael Quick. And he'll probably go out to right field once the inning's over. It looks like, this is an early sample here, but Ash Amerlan, he's either in the strike zone or he's way out of the strike zone. He had 2 of them that were, well, not within 5 feet of home plate. So Macaris draws the walk to start the 7th inning here. That'll bring up the first baseman, Matt Brandt. And that misses outside for a ball. Brandt with 1 home run, 9 RBIs on the season for the Gulls. He's hitting at a .234 clip. And Macaris can steal. He's got the speed. And that gets through the legs of the catcher, Rico Domingo, and he had to do a little 2-step dance with home plate umpire Clayton Wandler, but Macaris couldn't find the ball, and neither could Domingo, so Macaris stays over at first, and Domingo gets back behind the plate. 2-0 the count on Matt Brandt. And a called strike there. 2-1 the count on the Gulls' first baseman. Catcher Cam McLeod is on deck. Gulls trying to mount a comeback here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Nobody out. Base runner over at first in Macaris. And that misses and hits the home plate umpire, Clayton Wandler. Or it could have hit Rico Domingo. I'm not sure who it hit. It hit somebody's leg and took a real weird bounce. Let's take a look on the Hearthstone Property Management replay. Well, that hit, I think that might have hit Clayton Wandler. They're part of the game, aren't they? If it hits them, it hits them. 3-1 the count on Brandt. And Amerlan gets the call on the outside corner. Full count now on the Gulls' first baseman with nobody out. Aiden Macaris, the base runner, over at second. He's in for Michael Quick. the right fielder. And a swing and a miss there. Good pitch there by Amerland. And Matt Brandt getting nothing but air on that one as that's down low. And he went after it. That'll bring up the catcher, Cam McLeod, who had a double to lead things off in the third inning, but that's as far as he went. He never did come around to score. And he flew out to center field. And Macris takes off for third, and he got a huge jump. And that gets away from Zach Kavanaugh, but not far enough. But Aiden Macris, holy smokes, did he ever get a jump on Amerland? I think Amerland forgot all about him over at second base. Because look at Macris. He's just, yeah, oh, I'm going. And he's gone, and he's like 10 feet from the bag before Rico Domingo even throws the ball. So a good stolen base there by Aiden Macris, showing that he does have the speed. Now, a deep fly will score him and cut into that lead that the Giants have. Or a pass ball. Right on cue. That stolen base is big for the Sylvan Lake Gulls as Aiden Macris comes in to score the second run of the game for the Sylvan Lake Gulls on a pass ball, or a wild pitch, I should say, because that was way outside. Rico Domingo had no chance of getting a glove on that. So that goes to the pitcher. So as we've seen, this young man can throw hard, but sometimes he has a little bit of an issue finding home plate. 2-0 the count on Cam McLeod. The Gulls trailing now by 2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that misses inside. Three and 0 the count on Cam McLeod, taken all the way, I'm sure. And he draws the walk to keep the inning going. Yep, Sam Ramajan is warming up for the Fort McMurray Giants. Seeing as the coach has seen enough of the wild pitches from his left-hander from Aruba. And they're having a little chat. Rico Domingo getting his 2 cents in. Yep. Everybody's got an opinion here. And they're trying to settle down their left-hander. But he'll face Kyle Lewis here, the number 9 hitter in the Gulls lineup, who is 0 for 1, and popped up to the shortstop and drew a walk back in the 5th inning. Kyle Lewis from Lubbock, Texas. And Amerlon, sorry. I'm not sure what the fans are chanting. Ball 6. Okay, that's what they're chanting. Ball 6. Thank you, Calvin. Okay. These fans are sharp, folks. 1-1 the count on Kyle Lewis. That misses down low. I wasn't sure. I know what it sounded like. They both start with BS, but 2-1 the count on Kyle Lewis. 4-2 Giants lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Gulls with 1 out and a base runner over at first. And that misses outside. 3-1. as the Giants do have some action in their bullpen. Depending on what happens to Kyle Lewis, this might be the last batter for Amerland. And he fouls that back to count full now. Bottom of the 7th inning. Gulls with a run across already, trying to cut into that lead a little bit more. And that ball gets away from Rico Domingo, but he recovers fast enough that Cam McLeod's not going anywhere. Kyle Lewis is going over to first after drawing the walk. So back-to-back walks from Amerland, and that is going to be the end of the night for the young man from Aruba, as the coach has decided he's going to make the change, and number 29, Sam Rabajan from Milton, Ontario, is going to come into the game for the Giants. We'll take a little break and come back with the rest of the bottom of the 7th inning. Gulls still batting. We are back. New pitcher on the mound for the Fort McMurray Giants from Milton, Ontario. That is Sam Rabajan. And he'll face Tai Yukamoto with runners on first and second and one out. Giants with a 4-2 lead. And first pitch to Yukamoto has Rico Domingo out there. Said, wait a minute, I called this, you threw that. Don't do that again. Because I think he did cross up his catcher there. And Rabajan's going, yeah, okay. Well, I'll just throw him, you catch him, okay? 1-0 the count. On the top of the order, Tai Yukamoto, who had a base hit out to left field back in the fifth. And a good pitch there by Rabajan. Evens the count of 1-1. Kyle Lewis over at first. Cam McLeod, the base runner, at second. Top of the order, Yukamoto with the Gulls trailing by 2. And he sends this into deep left field, but out there is Connor Rainey, and that moves Cam McLeod over to third with the fly ball. But again, Connor Rainey showing his speed as look at how he tracks that down and makes a strong throw in to the shortstop. As Cam McLeod catching his breath over at third. Watching the signals from Wyatt McKnight. And that'll bring up Brock Tiarina, who has came in the 5th inning for left fielder Bryce Hampton. With 2 down here and runners on the corners for the Gulls. And there goes the base runner, Kyle Lewis. And again, they try I'm running to second, throw at me, and nope, it doesn't draw the throw from Rico Domingo. He's seen this movie before. And he holds onto the ball, making sure that Cam McLeod stays over at third. That misses up high. The count 1-1 now on Tiarina. Base hit could score 1 and possibly 2, which would tie this game as the Gulls are trailing 4-2 right now here in the 7th inning. Oh, a good pitch there. Ties up Tiarina. He trails in the count now 1-2. Gulls have left 4 players on base tonight and trail by 2 right now. They've got 2 guys on the bags right now. And a swing and a miss, a little foul tip, and hung on by Rico Domingo for the strikeout. That brings the inning to a close. No runs, 1 base, well, actually no hits. The Gulls, all their runners came on courtesy of walks. We are through 7 complete. Fort McMurray with a 4-2 win, I'm getting ahead of myself. 4-2 lead over Sylvan Lake. They're coming to bat. Pitcher number 3 for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That's number 41, left-hander Tyler Hryn. And he takes over. He's from Denver, Colorado. He's got 3 wins on the season, an ERA of 6 even. He's had 18 innings of pitching and 20 strikeouts and only walked 4. So Tyler's got some control. He's in the strike zone, and he'll face the top of the order, Elijah Olibal. And he starts him off with a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. And he comes inside this time. And Olibal holds back on the swing and evens the count at 1-1. Oh, a nice pitch there. Goes back to the outside corner. The count now 1-2. 4-2, Giants lead the Sylvan Lake Gulls here in the top of the 8th inning. Oh, and he just kind of stumbled off the mound on that one. Not sure what happened on that pitch, but he just kind of almost lost his footing as he planted, and the ball didn't come out the way he wanted, I'm sure. 2-2 now. And he off-speed pitch gets a little soft contact out to left field. Brock Tiarina is there, makes the grab, and that's one down. Tiarina coming in for Bryce Hampton out in left field. Hopefully it's just a substitution, not an injury situation. That'll bring up the center fielder, Connor Rainey, who's not done much at the plate. He's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts, but my goodness, his glove out in center field has been absolutely golden, as he has tracked down at least 2, maybe even 3 hard hit balls that are in the gap, and he had to close that gap quickly. This is grounded down to first base, and Matt Brandt this time makes no mistake over there and steps on the bag for the second out. Good job there by number 18, Matt Brandt. That'll bring up the first baseman, Matt Rhodes, who had a walk and popped out and then flew out to left field. And Rin missing with that pitch high and inside. For a ball. The Gulls have another pitcher warming up, so this might be the only inning for Tyler Rin. This is right to the center fielder, Kyle Lewis, who shows his speed and his glove ability as he just gets on that right away. He got a good jump and closes the gap quickly and makes the grab. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Tyler Rin and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. 7.5 complete. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th. Gulls trailing 4-2. bottom half of the 8th inning. That's the pitcher for the Giants, Ben Rambajan. And he'll face Brooks Bachman, Bryce Turner, and Rowan O'Connor. So technically that is BTO. Bachman, Turner, O'Connor. And hopefully they take care of business. Bottom of the 8th. Now's the time to do it. And a called strike there evens the count at 1-1. Nothing like a 1970s musical acknowledgement by the guy who was born and raised in Winnipeg. With Bachman, Turner, Overdrive, and the Guess Who, and all those other acts. Those two always come to mind. I can't help myself. 1-2 the count on Brooks Bachman. He had a base hit back in the first inning and then was grounded out to second and flew out to right field. So 2 for 3 on the night. And make that 2 for 4, or 1 for 4, as he strikes out to lead things off here in the 8th inning. Now Bryce Turner, last time he was up, well, he struck out, but before that, in the 4th inning, he launched a rocket over the left field wall. The first run of the game for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They've only been able to add 1 since then. As the Giants pitching has been very good, keeping the Gulls in check tonight. Fort McMurray with a run in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th on their 4 hits. The Gulls with 1 in the 4th and 1 in the 6th on their 4 hits. So only 8 hits tonight. Another pitching duel between the Giants staff and the Gulls staff. 1-2 the count on Turner. And back-to-back strikeouts for Ben Rabajan, as he has come in and settled things down for the Fort McMurray Giants, taking control. Well, that'll bring up Rowan O'Connor. No, it's a pinch hitter. Number 7, Jaden Flores, steps in to hit for Rowan O'Connor. Flores has got some pop in that bat. And if he gets on base, he's also got the wheels to steal. Jaden Flores hitting .301 on the year. 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. And he's well out in front of that one. 0-2 the count now on Jaden Flores, who will probably stay over at second base when the Giants come to bat in the 9th. But the 0-2 pitch here from Rabajan. And he strikes out the side. A solid inning of work for the young man from Milton, Ontario, as he sits down 3 Gulls in a row, courtesy of the strikeout. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Top of the 9th inning, Gulls trailing 4-2. Inning number 2 of work for Tyler Wren. He had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 8th. He'll face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Giants lineup. Lane Snow, Rico Domingo, and Zach Kavanaugh. Lane Snow started things going in the 3rd inning, or the 4th inning, with a leadoff single. And that's when the Giants scored 3 straight runs to take a 4-1 lead, or 4-0 lead at that time. They lead 4-2 here in the top of the 9th inning. Tyler Wren on the mound, taking over from Mason Little, who took over from the starter, Garrett Lundmark. And Wren comes in with that fastball. And a good eye by Lane Snow. 3-0 the count. If the Gulls want to have any shot, I think they cannot give up any more runs right now. And Snow taking all the way. And Tyler Wren fires a strike there to put the count at 3-1. Oh, and a well-hit ball by Lane Snow. And guess what, folks? Lane Snow has just launched that one over the fence. Just as I said, they can't give up any more runs. And Lane Snow says, here, hold my beer, watch this. A solo shot over the left field wall gives the Fort McMurray Giants a little more insurance there as they are up 5-2. Here's the replay courtesy of Hearthstone Property Management. Kaboom, and over the wall. A solo home run. And that'll bring up Rico Domingo, I should say, the catcher. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. 5-2 Giants lead it now. And a little squibber down first base, and Matt Brandt gets a glove on it and makes the out over at first base. So 1 down with Zach Kavanaugh, the 3rd baseman, coming up. Here's the replay. Hearthstone Property Management, thank you very much, says Matt Brandt. Right into it with my glove.
Number 4, Zach Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh is 2 for 3 on the night. And some solid defensive work over at third base. The 1-0 pitch, foul back. 1-1 the count. And another well-hit ball to center field. Kyle Lewis shows his range, shows his speed, and makes the grab out in center field for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up the second baseman, Coleman Kawaguchi, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. It's the middle part of the order for the Giants that has done all the damage tonight. The 4, 5, and 6 guys. Starting with Lane Snow. Oh, and 2 the count here on Coleman Kawaguchi as Tyler Wren trying to limit the damage, and that gets fouled off, the 0-2 pitch. Count remains 0-2. That misses down low. 1-2 now on the Giants' second baseman, with Connor Martin, the left fielder, on deck. Tyler Rinn on the mound for the Gulls. The 1-2 pitch, and that misses well outside. Two and two the count now. 2 down. Top of the 9th inning. Gulls trailing 5-2. And Rinn with the off-speed pitch, missing outside. Gets the count to full. And that's grounded down to third base. Brooks Bachman up with it. And a big stretch there by 6-foot-plus Matt Brandt. Hauls that in and records the third out. So just the 1 run on the one big hit by Lane Snow. Giants with a 5-2 lead. Gulls coming to bat. Welcome back to Gulls Field up at Gattle Park. Ben Ramajan has had himself a good couple of innings. Last inning, struck out the side to preserve the 4-2 lead for the Fort McMurray Giants. And he'll face Aiden Macaris, Matt Brandt, and Cam McLeod here in the bottom of the 9th. Gulls looking to mount a comeback here. That was coming back my way, and I was all ready for it. Although I don't catch with my right hand. I should put my left hand up because that's what I catch with. That right hand, that could have got ugly. 0-1 the count on Macaris, who took a walk in the 7th inning, met the second on a wild pitch, and then stole third on like an easy steal. He was long gone, got a huge jump, and then came in on another pass ball there, a wild pitch, to score the second run of the game for the Gulls. But that's where they stand. 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And they count 2-1 on Aiden Macaris. And that catches the outside corner to even the count at 2-2. And a full count on Aiden Macris, who came into the game in the 7th inning for Michael Quick, the right fielder. And the 3-2 pitch. And that is a called third strike on the outside corner. And Aiden Macris is letting home plate umpire Clayton Wandler know how much he enjoyed that call. And he just got himself tossed out of the game. Not that it matters. But head coach, pitching coach Matt Hape, and now the head coach tonight, because Jason Chatwood isn't here, he's going to come and give his 2 cents worth too. And he's looking to get tossed. Nope, he's going to stay in the game as Clayton Wandler says, okay, no problem. So Aiden Macris has been tossed from the game. But here we are in the bottom of the 9th. Gulls down by 3, so it might be a moot point anyway. So, but Junior Garcia will step in now to face Rambajan, who struck out the last 4 guys that he's faced. As you look at that lovely shot here of Gulls Field at Pegattle Park. I love that shot. Just shows you everything that these guys get to play on. And they do love playing here. The infielders definitely like this infield because you usually get a really true bounce. I haven't seen really a bad hop off of this stuff yet. And that grass in the outfield, whoever takes care of that, they could come and take care of my lawn because it doesn't look anything like that. And a well-hit ball to left field, but the left fielder, Connor Martin, is on it. And Junior Garcia, we've had this talk. He said, Junior, you keep hitting the ball hard, but you keep hitting that. He says, I know. He says, I can't believe how many at-bats I have that are solid, and it ends up in somebody's glove. And it does again tonight. So the Gulls are down to their last out. Cam McLeod, the catcher. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. And he skies the first pitch he sees out to center field. And I'm going to mark it down already as Connor Rainey makes no mistake. Hauls it in, and that completes the game as the Fort McMurray Giants, after being almost no hit last night, come back tonight and put a 5-2 win up against the Sylvan Lake Gulls. The Gulls will take on the Giants again tomorrow night for the rubber match. So the teams split, and we'll see what the Gulls have in store for the Giants tomorrow night. But right now, they've just dropped their first game at home here in a while. And we'll see what happens. But a good, strong game by the Giants. The Gulls leaving just too many batters on base, or too many runners on base. They left 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. And that 8th inning, or the 7th inning, I should say, when they had runners on, or 2 runners on and 1 out. Anyways, we go down to Jared Waldo in our player of the game.
Announcement with Jared Waldo.
Thank you very much, Joe. Your Ichi Auctions player of the game, ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Turner. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Thank you, folks. Bryce, just a quick turnaround from last night. Win last night, lost tonight. That's the game. When you're playing back-to-back games like that, you get an opportunity to take the rubber match tomorrow. Your opinion, what do you like to see tomorrow from this team?
Just flush this one and lock back in and win a game tomorrow and go from there.
Well, then let's do that tomorrow night. Ladies and gentlemen, your Ichi Auctions player of the game, Bryce Turner. Bryce, thank you very much.
Well, short and sweet for that. Bryce Turner, yeah, let's just flush this one and get the win tomorrow. That's all you can do. The Gulls did a good job on the pitching side of things with the pitchers that they did have out there tonight. Some good defensive work as well, especially out in center field by Kyle Lewis. And, of course, Bryce Turner with the solo shot over the left field fence injected a little bit of life in those Gulls. Snapman winning another race, but exhausted. And Matt Brandt over at first base. There's Kyle Lewis showing it now. That's sped up. He's not quite that fast, but he is certainly quick out there. And the Gulls need to get on the bats as they were, they were handled quite simply put by the Fort McMurray Giants pitching staff. So these two teams will go back.